and welcome to another episode of Soul Snacking with Dr. Mary Amore. I'm Dr. Mary, and I'm here with my co-host Alice Smith, and we are delighted that you have tuned into our program. Before we begin our show, let me tell you a little bit about the work that we do at Mayslake Ministries. Mayslake Ministries is a nonprofit ministry whose mission is to engage Catholics in a modern world. And we do this through a wide variety of avenues, including individual spiritual direction and counseling, weekend retreats, adult enrichment programs, inspiring blogs, videos, books, and television shows. Mayslake Ministries is also the only organization in the Midwest to offer free spiritual outreach to our military men and women who suffer from PTSD, the hidden and moral wounds of war. Over the years, we have helped hundreds of soldiers begin their spiritual process to healing and wholeness. Some of our other specialized programs include a caregivers ministry, marriage enrichment for couples, and a mom's ministry. Our programs are relevant to the ever-changing needs of today's believer. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, Mayslake Ministries has a program or service to help you. All people are welcome at Mayslake Ministries. For more information on the wide range of programs and services we offer, I invite you to visit our website at mayslakeministries.org and follow us on Facebook to see the ways that we can assist you on your walk with Christ. It is my hope that this TV show, Soul Snacking, will serve up some delicious and nourishing ways to feed your hungry spirit. We've got a great show for you today. Our guest is Christine Grano. Chris is a spiritual director and retreat facilitator at Mayslake Ministries. Her walk with Christ has inspired her to create a program entitled Healthy Eating with Holy Intent. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks, Mary.
You know, and as I'm telling people about our show, you know, you really fit into this perfectly because we're soul snacking. And so, of course, we should be eating with holy intent, right? So why don't you tell us how you came up with this wonderful idea of eating with holy intent?
Oh, it's so great. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. It happened many years ago where I was actually at a Mayslake function networking with people, and a parish nurse came up to me and said, I'd like you to do some kind of talk about food at our place. And so we talked about what they were interested in, and I had to come up with a title. And of course, I had to ask the Holy Spirit because I didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever used that title. And I talked to a group of people at their parish for about almost a whole day on the topic. It was wonderful. And from then, it just continued to morph and continued to grow into where it is right now, that I offer as like a conference for the day, and also for personal consultation.
Right.
That's great.
And also this year we're so excited. We're going to be offering this as an overnight. And you can bet, an overnight retreat, and you can bet that we will have very healthy food on this.
Absolutely.
And we will eat with holy intent. So,
Yeah.
so Chris, can you give our viewers some kind of, background or structure to start, eating with holy intent?
Sure.
What does that mean?
Sure. So I have a struggle with a lot of addiction over my life that I have overcome only by the grace of God, and one of those things was a food addiction. And one of the things that I had to understand was that I was trying to fill a hole inside with the food. And that if I could allow God to heal that part of me, that I could begin to walk in a different way. But it comes first with the understanding that our bodies are holy. I think that we forget about the body being a part of the spiritual journey. The mind, body, spirit really cannot be separated.
Sure.
And so for us to look at the body, it says in Scripture that God knit us in our mother's womb, and that we were made in the image and the likeness of God. So why would our bodies not be important to God? So I think that's the first place that we need to start, is to understand that.
And no matter what the body looks like, no matter whether it's working or broken down, it is still sacred to us and into the eyes of the Lord. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And so when you start this conversation, it's kind of eye-opening to people. They really haven't thought about it.
Right.
But really way back long time ago when there was that conversation even in the 400s, 500s about whether or not the body was important, they said, yeah, anybody who doesn't think that the body is important to the Lord is going to abuse it.
Sure.
So it's that relationship with God that starts this path. So even as a spiritual director, when I work with people, we always talk about how this conversation starts with, what is your relationship with God?
Wow, what a wonderful way to start that conversation. And the folks that are calling you for counseling, can you kind of give us a couple of examples of the kind of people that are calling or using you?
Well, I would say most of them are unhealthy in some way, physically, but also are on the spiritual journey and want to know how to pull that all together. We have a society that looks at the body really in the wrong way, all the things plastered on magazines, and so it's really hard to get a good hold on what really is important, and it's the health that's important. It's not having the 8-pack abs or anything like that.
Madison Avenue sells we should be forever young. Well, it's not happening. And so then what happens to people? They get depressed. Then they start eating because they're sad. So it's that whole cycle.
It is a whole cycle.
And so you really are onto something, Chris. And it supports, obviously Jesus loved humanity enough to become one of us.
Yes.
And so, and that made humanity blessed. Incarnation, God is with us. And so to see our bodies as something sacred, and the way we nourish ourselves is a way to keep ourselves in our bodies in good health.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's that need to bring the Lord into the conversation.
Yes.
And then there's that downright hard fact to admit that you are not healthy because of the way you are consuming your food.
That's right.
So do you get into that, or do you allow your clients to make those choices? Or?
Well, we talk about that. Last week I just met with 3 people about their food plans, and it was eye-opening to them, about what is nutritious eating. And we have in this Western world, we have a lot of garbage out there, and the food that is just doing us a disservice.
Yes.
I get angry a lot.
Me too. Me too.
So, but when we talk about feeding our bodies, there's people that go on these diets all the time, this diet, that diet, that diet. But really, what is it? It's about being nutritious. What is the most nutritious for my body that I like? I'm not asking anybody to eat cardboard, but what are the foods that we like? What are the foods we like that are most nutritious? But I think the most important part about it is the plan. How many people have you heard say, well, I'd really like to lose 35 pounds? Okay, well, don't talk to the air.
Plan?
How are you going to do that?
Put it on paper.
Put it on paper.
And it has to become a lifestyle.
It does. It cannot be something that you just do to get into the dress for the wedding.
Right.
It's got to be a whole change of mind, and that's where Scripture really comes into play, about how do we look at the mind renewal that we get from God about our bodies. So that's important. But the plan is extremely important as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And how did it work for you? Because you talked about at one point in time when you needed to go through this, and you met with someone, or you came up with your own plan.
My spiritual director happens to be also a member of Overeaters Anonymous for many years, and I went through Overeaters Anonymous for a while too. But when we began to talk about how that all worked together, there did have to be that plan. And you know what? It's making a decision. In 12-step they talk about making a decision to follow the will, to go along with the will of God. So that is where it kind of starts. That's that intentionality. And then God gives you the grace as you move through. And there's a lot of things to do about that. There's healing, emotional and spiritual healing that goes on. So it's not a one-stop shop.
Oh no, it takes a while. You have to forgive yourself for if you binge or whatever you eat. It's like you can't, hate yourself either.
No, and I've been on this walk for a lot of years, And
And you look wonderful, by the way.
well,
Really?
thanks, but
You're
it's
feeling healthy.
I feel great. I mean, I really feel great. So I want that same experience for other people, you know.
And it's a totally achievable experience, especially if you bring the Lord into it.
Absolutely.
Right, because if you
Absolutely.
just try and run two separate tracks, I got my spiritual life and now I've got,
No.
you know, it's integrated.
Doesn't work.
Absolutely.
I had a religious education director say to me one time, you know, I've prayed about so many things in my life, and she said, you know, I really never thought about praying about my food. It's what we think that God thinks is important.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
God thinks it's all important for us.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
taught foods and nutrition at the high school here in Addison for many years, and one course that we taught, that we offered, was called Senior Foods, and basically it was a social relevance to food and a lot of the social issues that occur around food. So you think about the government, you think about the regulations, you think about the FDA and all of the things that we have to do in order to put food on the table. And then and the students were absolutely wonderful in coming to a realization that it just isn't popping a McDonald's and a Coke in my mouth.
Right.
It has to do with who's serving it, how it was prepared.
Yes.
Am I paying a decent price? Could I maybe do something else with that dollar that I just
That's
consumed
right.
for nothing? It was a wonderful course. Wonderful course.
That sounds very interesting.
And the most popular issue was bulimia, and then what is the other one when you
Anorexia.
and anorexia.
Yeah.
And that was happening right there in the classroom, and I hoped
It's huge.
that we changed some minds because of education. Every now and then I'd throw in a little bit of, you know, the Lord can help here, but as in a public school I had to be careful. But are those still the two big sinful things that people do?
They are, but there's also, I think we have a very pervasive eating of emotions, which is very subtle. You know, we don't get to be a nation that's second in the world in our obesity and overweight. We're at about 70% overweight in our country. So the pervasiveness and the social acceptability of eating is we're eating ourselves to death is what's happening. And it's, you know, I get a little stressed, so I go over to the chips, or I, you know, whatever it is. It's a constant
anesthetizing ourselves through food.
It is, and it's entitlement. I eat because I can.
Right. It's in the cabinet, so I'm just going to go get it.
I eat because I can.
Right.
And then not thinking about what's happening to you and how you're affecting everybody else around you.
Right.
One message in the classroom was that many times people on low incomes are much healthier because they're not buying all the junk that people on middle incomes and high incomes can buy. And my students were just so interested in that concept because a lot of them didn't have money.
Right.
And I said, but think about it. You know, I mean, beans and all the things that are so basic in our legumes especially, you don't need a lot of that red meat in order to make life wonderful. I said, you can very nicely subsist on lentils and legumes.
You can eat well on a cheap budget, and you can also eat really lousy on a cheap budget because we have places like McDonald's that make it very easy for somebody to pick up something quick for amount. So it's both ways. It's really an interesting concept, but it's very hard because people think that when they eat, somebody will say, "Don't tell me anything about my eating. It's just affecting me." You know, well, it doesn't.
No.
Look at your families.
Right. It affects the whole family unit.
And I love that you talked about the social part of it. You know, why do we think that our health care is in such a mess? Is that we keep on doing these things to our body. So much of our disease is preventable. And then insurance is picking that up, and we're adding to the problems all the time. So a lot of it has to do with what we choose.
Absolutely. Our own patterns.
So,
Absolutely.
I mean, as
I find it
faithful people, we can change our course.
Now, you know, this ergonomic furniture where they're telling you that now you can stand.
Oh, right.
And of course, the whole thing is because you can use more calories if you're standing while you're working. I'm thinking, ooh, we're searching, aren't we, for ways to consume the same amount, but maybe now I can use a few more calories
Yeah, I
and
know.
stand while I'm working.
Chris, for our viewers, I want to just bring you back to, so if someone's out there struggling, and probably everybody struggles with something. I mean, my downfall are nachos at 9 at night.
Is that your downfall?
I love them. All of a sudden you'll hear the bag open. And that only happens when I'm really relaxed, not when I'm stressed. I don't eat when I'm stressed. I eat when I'm really relaxed.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that is very strange. Anyway, but for our viewers that are listening, what's one thing that they can do while they're watching this, after they're watching this little video, that says, that they can just kind of bring the Lord in to their eating intents?
I would say that if anybody is struggling with this, that they would begin to ask God for the honesty.
Right.
To be able to look at themselves and to say, what is it that needs changing? And then to not feel bad that everybody needs help. We were meant to be in community.
Right.
And so that to seek out, someone that they can work with, plan with, that can help them with their goals. But God is first.
Absolutely.
That relationship with God, to be able to do what you can in your spiritual disciplines and your prayer, to really strengthen that relationship, and then be led by the grace of God.
You hit on something I think that would be very important to our viewers, is that in order for you to change your life around, you need to name it first. You need to say, you need to be honest.
Yes.
With you and the Lord. Okay, I've got this problem, or I've got this problem. I can't solve it by myself, Lord, but please help me. Help me to be a better eater. Help me to be a better, person, a better husband, wife, whatever.
Yeah. You know what it is I think so many people are very ashamed of things when they have problems. And if they would only know and meet with other people in community, they would know how many people are going through the same thing.
They struggle.
And there's no judgment on it.
No.
There's no judgment.
Absolutely.
And so, the honesty and the renewal of the mind through the faith is the beginning spot.
I have this wonderful active life in the boating world, and just yesterday or the day before, a friend said, gee, I gained 17 pounds this year. I said, well, I know that your husband's been sick and that you've been under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
She said, yeah. She said, and I'm not even sure that I'm eating. She said, but I gained 17 pounds.
Wow.
Then the woman beside me is saying, I need to lose 20 because my son is getting married next year. And I'm thinking, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
I know. And here you're right. It's not that event. It's the whole life change.
Yes.
And this is such an exciting topic. I think we could go on and on and on. But we do have to talk about, Alice just talked about cruising. And for our viewers, you know what? This is a really bittersweet day because we're saying goodbye to Alice, or we're saying bon voyage, because Alice is about to embark on a 2-year cruise.
We are.
On her yacht with Captain Bob. Why don't you tell our viewers just in about a minute or two about what you're going to be doing?
Sure. Well, ever since retirement, my husband and I have lived a dream, and that is to do a lot of traveling, but on our boat instead of by air.
Right.
And so 5 years ago, we did a 2-year stint in the Eastern Caribbean. That's St. Martin, the British Virgin Islands. This time we're doing it in the Western Caribbean. So that's Belize, and that's Yucatan Peninsula, and that's Guatemala, Ecuador. We'll probably get to the ABCs, that's Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire. And who knows where we might be.
Well, that is the dream of a lifetime. I think everybody that's watching this is going, whoa, that is amazing. But I know, first of all, you're going to take us with you in spirit, because we will miss you so much.
Thank you, Mary.
There would be no soul snacking if it wasn't your idea, Alice. So thank you for sharing your thought and letting God's grace abound.
You're welcome.
I know that on your cruising in the island, you will be eating with holy intent.
Yes, absolutely.
When you pick up that pineapple, you're going to go, oh yeah, this is really holy intent. So, and I hope on your journey that you take with you our book.
Oh my goodness.
Every Day with Mary. So this is our brand new book from Mayslake Ministries, and Alice and Chris and 29 other people at Mayslake Ministries are co-authors of this. And this is just a wonderful book to start your day with. It starts with January 1st, goes through January 31st. It's just a very short reflection, but it helps all of us to set our day on a course with our Blessed Mother, so that every day we can start with Mary.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to using
this will fit in your travel
Absolutely.
bag. It'll fit in a briefcase, a diaper bag,
Absolutely.
whatever. Wherever anyone is going, every day with Mary needs to come with you.
Well, where can people find it?
Oh, they can find it on at mayslakeministries.org, or it's published by our Sunday Visitor, so osv.com. Also available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. So wherever you buy your books, you can get Every Day with Mary, because it just came out this week.
What a beautiful gift.
I know. Well, you are the beautiful gift.
Well,
really.
thank you.
Thank
My
you so much.
goodness.
We will miss you. I hope you watch our soul snacking episodes
I
in the
sure
future
will. I
from
will.
whatever port that God brings you to.
And I must let you know that in our last excursion when
Yes.
we did this, my husband and I each lost 12 pounds.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? Perhaps you should write a book on how to do that, because I like to cruise too, but I don't lose 12 pounds. Because I'm not eating with holy intent, I'll tell you. But I will, Chris. I will try. So, Chris, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Alice, God bless you.
Thank you.
Godspeed, and until we meet again.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'll be watching
So-
you online.
Okay, thank you.
betcha.
You know, on behalf of Mayslake Ministries, I'd like to thank Chris and Alice and the Village of Addison, Downers Grove, and Comcast Cable TV for the opportunity to join you today on your spiritual journey. I really hope that something we said today inspired you or perhaps challenged you, but most of all made you hunger for a holy intent with Jesus in your life. For more information on the ways that Mayslake Ministries can help you on your spiritual journey, visit our website at mayslakeministries.org or call us at 630-852-9000. Remember, we are here for you. Until next time, God bless.
Oh, you pulled a good one here.
I did.